Tool lots. Reliable equipment. Fast.
Hi, my name is Kyle LaRue and I'm with Tool Lots, and today we're going to be talking about Ving's 1600 series wide format laminator. This laminator comes with a 2-year warranty. It is capable of laminating up to 60 inches in width and 0.9 inches in thickness. It's capable of laminating at 236 inches per minute, and it's also cold and heat assisted, so the user has the option to use the heat assist to laminate their materials. It's capable of heating up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. It has a 60-watt motor, which is variably controlled. It consumes about 0.3 to 0.5 kilowatts per hour. The laminating rollers themselves are manually adjusted. It contains 4 core holders as well as a quartz element heating tube. The system is 110 volt, 60 hertz based. It also has a nice work table with a curved edge to prevent damage during operation. And it also contains a safety photo cell, and this is located just in front of the rollers to prevent injury during operation. It also contains a detachable foot pedal, and this gives the user more mobility to work around the machine. Okay, so now that we've covered all the specs for the 1600 series laminator, we're going to go ahead and begin the installation process. You're going to want to bring in a helping hand to assist you with the stand and machine mounting. So I brought in our other technician, Caesar, to give me a hand. So first, let's begin by assembling the stand. You're going to want to take note of our orientation of the bottom legs. You'll notice that one side of the leg has a straight flat edge, and the other side has a curved inlet, and this is for the core on the back side of the machine. So you're going to want to make sure that this is orientated towards the back. Also take note of how we have our stands laid out. They're currently orientated to make it easy and faster for the assembly process. So all we're going to do is lift our stands up, and we're going to place it on this flat edge so we're not moving around and struggling with the installation. So go ahead and separate your stands about the width of the machine, and we'll grab our bottom support. Start with this installation first. Go ahead and line your holes up. Okay, so now that we have our bottom posts installed, let's go ahead and flip our stand over. And again, we need to take note of the orientation of our cutout. We see here that it's facing forward on the machine. So Caesar and I are going to go ahead and swap places. All right. Now our stand's orientated correctly. Let's go ahead and begin our next support beam installation. I want to angle it down a little bit more. Away. There we go. Okay, so now we have our second support beam tightened up. Again, take note that we have 2 different sizes of the Allens. The other size Allen that you're going to need is 3/16. So let's go ahead and lift our machine onto the stand. There we go. Okay, so now we have our machine mounted. Let's go ahead and install our secondary core holders. So you want to make sure that you have your opening facing out so that way the core can be dropped in from the front. And these are going to take 4 Allens, and they're going to bolt up right underneath your work table here. So we're going to install our second lower core holder, and again, this mounts to the inside of the machine wall here, just take note of your orientation. Do not install it like this, or else you won't have access to your tension knob, and your port opening is going to be facing towards the back of the machine, and thus you will not be able to install your core holder. Okay, so now that we have our stand assembled, the machine on the stand, we have our lower core holders in place, we can now begin to install our core holders. This specific machine is equipped with one lower core holder, two on top core holders, and then one on the back. And if you take notice, these are directional. So on one side, you'll see there's a male insert that will go into one side of the core holder itself. The other core holder on the other side of the machine is spring loaded, so this will just kind of click into place. So let's go ahead and take a look at our core holders themselves. So we see here that these core holders are equipped with these rubber bands, and these bands are here to help secure the core onto the core holder, so that way during operation the core doesn't slip on top of the core holder. It's actually going to rotate with it. You'll also see it's labeled with a measuring system, so you can properly align your laminate and your image. As well, you can see we have the female end of the core holder, which is going to go into the male end of the machine. So let's go ahead and place it on. We'll start with our lower core holder. So first, we're going to line up this edge, and you can use your tension knob to rotate the core so it lines up. Put it into place and lock it down, and there you go. It's one installed. Onto the top two. Again, start with the female side, male side. Line it up, pop it into place. Second top one. All right, there we go. That's it for our cores. So now let's go ahead and install our hand wheel. So we take our hand wheel, put it into place, and you can see there's a key slot located here, which is how this is going to mount up to the rotating shaft itself. So we're going to go ahead and insert our makeshift key, and now our machine is rotatable. So now we have this installed, let's go ahead and move on to the installation of our heating element. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and install our quartz heating element. You're going to want to be very cautious when working with this piece because it is fragile and easily broken. If you'll take note, the end caps of the element are actually made of ceramic. So again, be very careful when working with this piece. So in order to install our heating element, we're going to have to take off our side covers on the laminator. So let's go ahead and do that. Both sides will need to come off for this. And it's just going to be 3 screws per side. And it kind of has this latching mechanism so it doesn't just fall off on you. We'll place that down here. And we're going to need to remove this mount as well. And you can see here we have this cable, this white cable, and this is going to be what gets connected to the end of the heating element. And you can see it's connected here to its solid state relay. So let's go ahead and remove this mount plate off. And again, we see we have another white cable here. This is going to connect to the other end of the heating element. Okay, so now that we have both of our mounts off, we can go ahead and insert our quartz heating element. So a little trick that I'm going to show you to help you install this by yourself if you don't have a helping hand is use a flashlight. This flashlight has a magnet on top of it and an LED bar. So we're going to go ahead and stick our flashlight to the top of our machine, and we're going to flood that opening with light so we can see from down on the other side. So let's go ahead and grab our element, insert it from the other side. Again, be very careful when working with this piece as it's very fragile. So if we look down through our hole here, we can actually see a nice bright opening to kind of help us guide this through. Okay, so now that we have the heating element fed through our heat assist roller, let's go ahead and pull our ceramic cap off. And this just unthreads. Be very careful with this piece. Pull it off and set it on top of the machine. And we're going to need to install our rubber mounted clamp before we install our wire cable. Okay, now we have our mount properly secured. Let's go ahead and install our white cable. We will undo our nut, and you'll see there's a nut and 2 washers. So we'll pull the nut and 1 washer off. Okay, we can place our ceramic cap back on. And you'll notice the end cap is threaded, so this just threads onto the heating element. All right, we can go ahead and return our cover. Okay, let's go to the other side and install the other cable. Okay, so here we are at the other side of the machine. We can go ahead and remove our flashlight, turn that off. Remove our ceramic end cap so we can install our mount. All right, mount is properly secured. Let's remove our nut and washer. Okay, tighten down. And again, this doesn't have to be too tight. Place our cover on, ceramic cap. All right, replace our end cover. All right, now we have our heating element installed, our cover plates properly secured. Now we can move on to the last installation, which is the foot pedal and then a power up. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we're at the last 2 steps of our installation for the 1600 series laminator. We have our remote foot pedal that needs to be installed, and this is just a simple 2-prong plug that gets installed on the back of the machine. And you can't mess this orientation up. It only inserts one way. So there we go, it's inserted. We'll tighten it down. And our last and final step is to plug it in. Again, this is 110 volt, 60 hertz system. And that completes our installation for the 1600 series wide format laminator. Thank you for watching, and please tune in for other videos on operation and maintenance.